quotes, and I'll ask the speakers to come in the order in which you sign. The first one is Michael Burton, and then Chip Harris. Like I said, brevity is appreciated on this one since we have some items coming down that are, and then the next one is the Santa Conference. We have a long evening here with some critical items. Not that this is not critical, very critical.
Well, thanks for inviting me and being here. I'm John Henry Faulk's biographer, or Michael Burton, and I have a prepared statement I'd like to read. People have said a lot about John Henry Faulk since his death in April 1990. Everything from a true patriot to a courageous hero to the national treasure of Texas. But all these descriptions fail to capture the uniquely funny and charming nature of this man. This storyteller, educator, actor, activist, writer, and First Amendment champion, among other things he's been called. A man who sacrificed his career so others could enjoy their constitutional freedoms. Now, for those who don't know, very briefly, John Henry Faulk was born and raised on a farm in South Austin in the house now known as Green Pastures Restaurant. He studied under the great J. Frank Dobie and became an expert in folklore. After serving with the Red Cross and the Merchant Marines, he hit it big in New York with his own radio talk show, where he stayed for 10 years until he attacked blacklisting during the McCarthy era. For that, he got blacklisted himself and removed from the airwaves. You might have read about it in John Henry's book, Fear on Trial, or seen the 1975 TV movie about his record-setting libel suit that essentially put the nail in the coffin of the blacklisting industry. But instead of becoming the next Will Rogers, which he was on the cusp of becoming, John Henry opted for principle over profit. For the next 30 years, he toured the after-dinner circuit, speaking about the importance of the First Amendment and the importance of libraries. I can think of no better honor to both the library and the late John Henry Faulk than in naming a central branch, or the main branch, or whatever it's called, after his name. Why? Because John Henry, the crackle-bearer philosopher who could make anyone laugh or cry, represented what a library is all about, a thirst for knowledge and a desire to expand one's mind. That's why I subtitled my book, The Making of a Liberated Mind, because John Henry keenly possessed that trait that his friend and mentor, J. Frank Dobie, valued above all else. Both Dobie and Faulk listened intently with their hearts and minds, but it was their minds that continued to expand and explore. This was part and parcel of what constituted an unfettered and liberated mind, a mind that was open to new ideas. A library is, after all, a place to expand one's mind and explore new ideas. And John Henry lived his life by this principle. As he said in a letter to Dobie, Bedicek, and Webb, Walter Prescott Webb and Roy Bedicek, in February 1951, very briefly. I have been trying to figure out why I sort of tingle all over when I am with you all. Of course, it is a rather silly analysis to carry on, but it does interest me. As close as I can come to it is the fact that your talk flows not only from healthy, creative minds, but from minds unfenced by bigotry and prejudice, minds enriched by lifelong probing and beauty, and being unafraid of change. You are all living testimony to the truth that the biological changes that overtake the body cannot take like toll from the thinking processes of a man. I know a hell of a lot of young bucks who could outrun any of you, but I do not know a single youngster who can outthink you. My devoutest ambition is to retain a youthful, inquiring mind, as you gentlemen have, until I shuffle off this mortal coil. Then, regardless of what has befallen me in the material world, I shall have lived well. John Henry Faulk lived well.